So the first question, what is your full birth name?
My full name is David Joe Santos.
All right, and then were you named after anyone? Is there a story behind your name?
So my first name, David, really don't know where that came from. My middle name is Joe, and that came from my grandpa's side, on my mom's side. Joe has been around in the family the name Joe's been around in the family for a while, so we keep moving it down tradition after, generation after generation.
All right, and then when were you born?
I was born 11/13/1981.
Okay, and then where were you born?
I was born in Hanford, California.
All right, and then what early memories do you have of a child in the Portuguese-American community?
As a child in the Portuguese community, from being a kid, I remember most was going to our celebrations, which we call festas, and watching, the traditions of both leite, festas, and the marches, and all that good old stuff.
And then when did your family immigrate to the United States?
I want to say it was 1972 when my dad came over, and then in 1974 he went back to marry my mom, and then they both immigrated back together in 1974.
And then why did your family leave the Azores? What was their trajectory to Central California?
So, mom and dad came over here with their family, which all the brothers and siblings came over to better themselves due to earthquake had struck Azores and making it very hard to live there. So they came over to better themselves, and of course they came to the Central Valley where they were used to, cows was their main thing. So here they started working for other people and making a living out of it.
All right, and then where did your family settle and why there?
They settled in Watsonville, California is where they first came to. They were only there for a short period of time, and then they went to up north in the area of Hillmar. Where they first started milking cows. My mom was a housewife, and then they moved down to Hanford, where there they stayed pretty much the rest of their lives here. So.
All right, and then did your parents/grandparents ever tell you what adjusting to life in a new country was like? What stories were passed down to you regarding their early experiences?
So, from what I've been told many times, adjusting to life here was a little bit easier than in Azores. In Azores, of course, they didn't have shoes, and and they worked a lot as kids growing up. Here, the paychecks were bigger, of course, and they united together in making a life, and they were very successful, at doing things like that here. They worked hard, but they also got paid for it, and they made money to where we can have better lives.
All right, and then you are your member of your family's first generation to be born in the United States. How important was it to your parents that you be raised with a strong Portuguese identity?
So for my parents, it was very important for us to have to be very involved in the Portuguese community and be in the Portuguese culture. We were raised and grown around, celebrations. We're from a part of a celebration itself, and there we were grown into it, and it was very important for us to keep the traditions going.
And then how is this identity expressed through language, foods, traditions, and festivals?
Oh, that's a good one. The foods, of course, the traditions of our foods are amazing. A lot of people, don't know how well our foods are, because we don't have too many restaurants around here. So it is very big for us to express to other people, like our friends and stuff, the foods, and they fall in love with it, which is amazing. The festivals, it's awesome to see people come out to them and us enjoy them, and and people dancing that are really not very Portuguese, but they get out there and dance to the Portuguese music. That is very awesome, and it's great to see all that type of stuff. So,
And then, what cultural traditions have you maintained? Why has it been important to you to maintain them?
so I play Portuguese music. I've played Portuguese music since the age of like 7. I've kept the tradition going. I still play. Played a lot all through some of the world, and I still do carnaval, folklore, FLAD, do a lot of it, and I try to keep the tradition going so it doesn't die out, because in America we definitely need that as much as we can.
And then, have you been to the Azores? What was the experience like for you?
I've been to the Azores, I don't know how many times, probably 9 or 10 times throughout my life. I just got back last year. The Azores is amazing. It is beautiful. It is great to see where our roots came from, and now showing my kids it is amazing. And I do suggest that anybody that gets a chance to go.
Okay. And then, trace some of your experiences growing up in the Portuguese American community in the Valley throughout your life.
So in the Valley, we have quite a bit of celebrations, and and tracing back to them, you know, it was nice to see like the Boldledge, groups folklore, all that, marches, all that type of stuff in our festivals. Growing up into it, also being a part of them as well, the family being a part of it. Great stuff, and we do have a strong community of Portuguese stuff, and that is awesome. So,
Okay. And then, of all you have accomplished, what are you most proud of? What proud moments do you remember in the Portuguese American community?
so proud moments is being on stage playing music that's Portuguese. That's always one of the biggest proud moments for me, is keeping our traditions going and being able to express what talents we got and give them back to the community and the Portuguese heritage.
Okay, and then, to what extent do you believe being Portuguese American has shaped you? How have you moved through life professionally and personally?
So, coming from a Portuguese background, we were always taught by parents, grandparents to work hard. If you work hard, you will succeed in life, and that's one of the biggest accomplishments. Is that we always work hard, and we, at the end of the day, it pays off, and it's great to have that passed down from generation to generation to keep the work ethic up. So.
Okay. And then, what does being Portuguese American mean to you?
So, oh boy, that's a good one. Being Portuguese American is awesome. Our traditions, our cultures, the unity that we have together is awesome. People stick together, which is great. And we work hard to keep traditions going, and that is something that I'm very proud of.
Okay, and then, how do you see the Portuguese American community today?
I see it was stronger. I gotta be honest. It was stronger. It's great that the younger people still come out, support it and stuff. And we need to continue doing that type of stuff. But it is still there, and people are doing their best to keep it going, and that is very awesome to see.
All right, and then, do you want to share anything we didn't cover?
As a Portuguese American, I just want to reach out to everybody and just let everybody know that keep the traditions going. It's very important for the Portuguese people, for our parents, grandparents, to see people out there enjoying the Portuguese traditions. And keep it going. And thank you, Madison, for coming out.
Thank you for coming.
You
All right.
got it.